Yeah, I don't know where to start this. I got one of my Bajan brothers in the building, you know what I'm saying? Bajan Americans. I would say one of the guys that helped usher hip hop into my life in the time period where hip hop became the predominant voice in my head. Some would argue, and I know I'm gonna catch flack for this, the first Redman. My man said that earlier today. We got K Solo in the building, man.
Thanks for having me, man.
Spellbound.
Yes,
How you doing, sir?
I'm all right.
I forgot to do a mirror check. Hold on. You got to make sure, bro. You got to, every now and then, make sure you're good. You might want to, you want to do your mirror check?
Good.
You good? You good?
I look the piece.
All right.
I look the part.
We got on the phone after you did something unthinkable. You had Marco Polo send me a picture when I had hair.
That's crazy.
I'm like, where you get this picture from? Where's this picture? It's not on the internet. It's not. Yo, hold on. Let me pull it up. Where's my phone? Where's my phone? It's like some mafia shit. Like when a nigga send a picture of your house. Hold on. Let me pull this up.
That's crazy.
Hold up. Look at this. Can they see it? Yeah. How you get this picture, man?
So one of my workers, like my guys in my crew ran with you in the days.
Right.
And when I told him I was doing, he said, send him this. So I was like, and I saw it too, and I'm like, okay. He said, this is when he first, but they spoke highly of your grind though. And they said they knew you were gonna be,
somebody.
Yeah, because you had that worth ethic.
Yeah. Yeah, I wasn't scared to leave the block if they wasn't going.
Right, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, your grind, being one of the like I said, one of the premier voices that kind of brought me into hip hop. My cousin was obsessed with you.
Right.
I remember I came back from the islands around like 92, 93. And K Solo, Def Squad, a thing? Yeah. Okay.
What was Hit Squad first, then
His squad. And I think the early, like the Wu-Tang had just dropped Protect Your Neck or some shit like that.
Yeah.
Used to play that all the time.
Yeah.
What was it like for you? What was your grind like?
Well, coming from Long Island, born in Queens, I'm from South Side.
Right.
131st Street, went to Adams. But I had to be in Long Island to box. So my mother and father had split up, and I was in Long Island a lot. Trained under a guy named Ralph Mann and Tony Fortunato. Tony Fortunato was from the Bronx.
Right.
And did the Golden Glove things, knew Mike Tyson, knew Riddick Bowe. I had that going on. And then got locked up and wrote an album. And it was time to actually execute it. And I got, put on and got on.
Did you ever spar with Mike?
No. What I would do, I was in the Empire States with him. I seen Mike when he fought Winston Bent. I knew that's when Mike cracked the ice, And Winston Bent is Michael Bent's older brother. He's a super heavyweight. And his Michael, who we knew, Gerard Michael Tyson, fighting Winston Bent in the Empire State Games. This is like preliminary just to get where you're going.
Right. Did you fight in those? That?
Yeah, we fought in them
right.
with Owen McGeechee, Mark Breland, all of us, Aaron Superman Davis. But the thing with me is, like I said, my mind at that time was still into the streets. One foot in the street, one foot in boxing. And I would get in trouble, Wouldn't lose no fights in the street because I had the cardio and I had the abilities.
What about the Golden Gloves?
Did that too. I got to the semifinals, quarterfinals, and got locked up. But Mike, when he cracked Winston Bent, I knew, because Winston was the guy. If it wasn't them two winning, You know, they would when he cracked Winston Bennett and the headgear was, we knew Mike Tyson had landed. He was coming into his own.
When you saw that, was you like?
I just knew it.
Did you? Were you guys in the same weight class?
No, I was a welterweight. Like I was like one under Mark Breland at the time, 139 pounds.
Oh, you slim.
Yeah, I was real slim. And the heavyweight in my family, your size, my younger brother Darryl Madison. Darryl Madison won everything. You know, he won everything as far as everything Ali and Mike Tyson won as an amateur, he won too. But you know, my whole thing with that was though, if you don't have this together, you're gonna still have problems. You know, and like when Mike lost Cuss, he still had problems.
Yeah.
You know, problems caught him. But he cracked the code, and when Mike went through that, and then also good friends with us from the boxing world was Jab Judah. His whole family ran with my brother, ran with us, and anytime I had an issue in hip hop, Jab would be on the phone first. Like, what happened? And then Mike follows. What happened?
Now this is Jab Judah Senior.
Yeah.
Right.
He's from where my mother's from.
Right.
From Brownsville. My mother's from Brownsville, in between that and Bed-Stuy. So they all know each other. You know, that's how this community works anyway. They all know from somebody, right?
Right.
So Jab Judah and his brothers were always good with my younger brother and me. So, like I said, with the boxing industry is like the rap industry. You have a very small circle, and they all know each other. A lot of people don't give credit to Georgie Benson, who created the shoulder roll, but he's from Philly. Godfather trained with all of them. I would think back in those days that Italians weren't black. I beg to differ, being raised by Tony Fortunato, who always stated that that was just an ethnicity, like a color. He was never on that page, and neither was Cuss. Cuss was like Mike's son.
Right.
So
I mean,
we didn't realize that till we got around Italians to find out how Italians felt and then know the history, how they would get hung worse than blacks in the 1800s.
Right.
And it became good for the Italians after Christopher Columbus's holiday got passed. Before that, they were just like us.
Right. Yeah.
So, you know,
outcast.
They were outcasts.
Lived in the slums, pretty much had to, you know, pick at the scraps to get
and it was real bad for them. So Frank Sinatra was very close to Joe Louis, Sugar Ray Robinson, Sammy Davis Jr., and Quincy Jones. He's the one that put Quincy Jones in that position. His children and his godfather. So a lot of people don't give Frank Sinatra credit about being, you know, in the civil rights era, he would boycott any white establishment, any establishment that had a problem with blacks eating in the restaurant. He doesn't get any credit for that. But he was very serious about that. If he found out Ella Fitzgerald couldn't eat in the restaurant, he boycotted that shit. So I would hear this from Tony and them, you know. It's funny being as young as I was hearing it from them, I would know because my father would be behind it and say, yeah, this is what he's telling you is true. Because my dad's from Harlem, mother being from Brooklyn. So you hear Langston Hughes stories and stuff around the house. So we knew what direction to go into, but at a time in our culture, we thought we were supposed to be idiots. I don't know if that makes sense. But we didn't think we were supposed to be, you know, because the way America was spinning it. You know, they were spinning it like we were supposed to be hoodlums and people of no future. So,
and this message was coming through where? Where were you receiving it at?
Through TV, through media. Everything I saw on TV, I didn't see us in it correct.
Right.
And I would think that when I would see that, my mind would set us on a course on where it should be, views of what I saw. You know what I'm saying? Mike was the same way. Mike used to be the worst too, like crime, like we were always in trouble. You know what I'm saying?
When did y'all connect, you and Mike?
Mike was going to Triad. When Mike was going to Triad, I was in the amateurs like him. My godfather knows his godfather. So their Italian level, they all knew each other. So I would see him at the fights. Didn't really see him in the streets that much, but I did know Demencio because I'd be in Brooklyn, you know, with some of my cousins that live in Fort Greene. So I knew some of their friends. I knew the real 50 Cent, but I was pretty young at the time. But I would see the things going on and didn't really understand it, but I thought that's what it was supposed to be for us. I didn't know.
Right.
You know, and then I started reading and started learning and digging in history. And with everything I learned from the 8 people that were teaching me, I taught Redman. And it impacted him too. You know, because I had a close relationship with him. He was my DJ. We did everything together. So, you know, him in Long Island with me, I'm kicked out of my house, living in a crack house. He kicked out of his house. We were born on the same day. And every time we told people we weren't brothers, And our birthday came up and they seen us celebrating. They were ready, yo, man, y'all said y'all ain't brothers. Which it stuck. Okay, he's my brother.
Right.
Leave me alone. Like, you know. But everything I learned, I passed down to him. Mm-hmm. And to this day, he thanks me. He goes, you know, you don't know. And I'm like, no, I know. I see the progress in the way you live. I know you were listening. Even though I didn't think he was listening. You know, because Redman was an artist and I didn't think he was listening. And I'd be running my mouth for 2-3 hours and I'm like, this guy's not listening to this shit.
What are you lecturing him about, right?
I mean, you know, I used to see his, he was reckless in a lot of ways, like talented as an artist, but you know, he just was young and, you know, like we were young and just ready to whatever.
Right.
Something happened, he was right there with it. And I knew I went to jail for them. I didn't need them to go too. I knew there was nothing there for us, you know? So I remember his mother was adamant one day and saying, help my baby. And I don't know why I said this. I said, he's gonna be all right. Not even knowing. And there he is, you know,
Okay, so, all right. When did you decide I'm gonna be an artist?
All right, so I'm in Riverhead. I'm in the Max joint. And no, I'm in Yaphank. And I'm not boxing now. I'm locked up.
What are you locked up for?
Because, okay, the word nigger, I was, you know, growing up thinking that my culture is a nigger, right? Mm-hmm. I had no idea what a nigger was till my grandmother told me, my mother's mother, who's from Barbados. Mm-hmm. So the white kid tells me on the block, he says, I'm having a bad day. I'm headed for the Empire State Games. I don't want all my fights. Everybody's happy. Kevin Madison Square Garden is coming into his own. I'm going to be this guy. I was groomed to be the next, you know, Muhammad Ali, Sugar Ray Robinson, fast fighter.
I like that Kevin Madison Square Garden.
Right. Well, that's what it was. It's a true story.
Right.
It was a true story. And my brother boxed ever since he was 2 years old. This is what we were doing. So when my father would come home from work, he was a truck driver, he would bring boxing magazines. I'm 8 years old. And he would say, you know, because my mother was live. Like she didn't, like if something happened with my mother, like that Brooklyn shit was for real. You couldn't come in the house with that shit and be like, oh, she wasn't going for it. You going back outside and take the whole crew with you. And don't come back in there till it's handled. Like, so that was our demeanor and our personality. I didn't have fear for it because I really feared her more than that. Right. So me being, and then the word nigger was, like I said, I didn't know what the term was, right? The word nigger is a very big subject in my vocabulary now because it doesn't mean black. But I didn't know that then. So when I'm walking past the biker, I'm broke. I'm headed to be a champion of Long Island. If I get into this Empire State Games and win this last fight, I'm in the finals. And then I'll go to Lake Placid where the other guys go to fight for the region, right? So I'm walking past these bikers in Lowell Avenue and I heard nigger. And I'm at the really... It's my birthday. I'm upset. I don't have the money I want to have. And I know I'm an amateur fighter, but that's not enough. I have a girlfriend who's really, she doesn't know what I'm going to do. And she's starting to cheat now. She's starting to do a bullshit. So in my mind, young, not knowing no better, when he says nigger, I'm really upset now. So I'm going to show him what a nigger is, right? So I said his mother, and he wanted to chase me. I ran in a dark area where it was little trees, and I turned around like a Bruce Lee movie and just started handling my business. Now, I shouldn't have did that because if I knew better, right, I would have been a better outcome. But it was I beat them up and one got really hurt bad. And I'm so stupid, I had my name on the freaking jacket. Kevin Madison Square Garden's on the jacket. All my bottles, backs and patches, I'm stupid, right? So
you left your jacket?
No, they see who it was and they tell the police officer his name. There's only 3 boxers in our community. Buddy McGirt, me, and Ralph Mann. So they round all 3 of us up. And when the guy sees this, the guy in the middle, it's me. So now my father looked at me and said, you had everything paid, which I did. Perfect amateur career. I was going places. He said, now you throwing it all away for the word nigger. He couldn't understand it.
Well, at the time, let's walk back through it, right? You got so much ahead of you, but then there's the pressure. You said your girlfriend's cheating, or you're suspected.
Yeah, she's being.
Not her fault.
Things. Not her fault. Ready?
Right.
Because in our community, we're leading the way, right? But here I am. She's not understanding where this is going.
Right.
The rappers are coming out now. The rappers are popping. So she's interested in what she sees now. Monetary.
Success.
It's right away.
Right.
Right? I'm running 5 miles twice a day. I'm doing all of this shit to become this guy. And she's helping me.
Right.
But she's seeing these guys with the bag now.
Who was the guy that she saw?
I don't know if he was a rapper, but he was involved with MOP's crew.
Mm-hmm.
He was, I think, the executive producer, and they had a one-night scenario, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, me not understanding none of this shit, I'm just focused on the white dude. I'm gonna take it out on him now, right?
Right.
So now I'm in this situation, and my nana tells me, she says, you did this for this word, and then she shows me in the dictionary 9 other niggas that ain't black. And I'm like tripping.
Well, how did it feel beating the snot out of those
Oh,
guys?
it felt good. It felt good. I was, it felt good because, I felt like a super kid. But
It was temporary.
yeah, because at the end of the day, like I said, when I look at the trainer now, they're not there now. I was the guy. They never had a world champion, right? I was the guy, right?
Right.
And they still love me and it's still there, but it's like when you get angry and you're not thinking, it could be everything I worked for to get there was gone in like 3 minutes. And I didn't experience that.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm doing 16 years in a correctional facility, and I'm having my way in there because they can't really, nobody's gonna handle me in there. Like
Right.
they can't. It's going down real bad because
Right.
I'm not trying to be there.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, Havoc's brother shows up and he's violent also, but he's telling Prodigy and them about me in there, and he's like, no, that dude's not.
Okay, so
Yeah. He said he's,
Killing
and
it.
I was because I'm not trying to be there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm already got a chip on my shoulders because I'm there. So you're talking about I can't get a phone, like it was going down real fast for the people. So, and I wasn't proud of that neither because I didn't want to do that, but
Mm-hmm.
I had the ability to do it and I had the cardio to back it. So I did it to survive. Now,
Mm-hmm.
when I got my head together and said, okay, now you have to rap now because by the time you get out, you're not gonna be able to box. You know what I mean? And it was true. It was like, and when I tried,
why was that?
it was so funny because when I tried to go back and I got out, those abilities were gone. Like, I mean, not totally gone, but on that level, they were gone. I couldn't get in there with them anymore. I was still the guy here, but I couldn't get in there at that level no more. And
So is that when you decided to steal DMX's rhyme book?
well, here's the thing with that. No, this is the thing with X, right?
Right.
This was ironic.
Because you met DMX in jail.
Yeah, I love
rest in
X.
peace, Killer
I love
B.
X.
Rest in
I
peace,
love
X.
X, but here's the thing. I'm an intellectual. DMX is not an intellectual. DMX is a great rapper, great rapper.
Right.
But when we met, it wasn't even a battle. We were just exchanging verses. And I had nothing for him, I'm being totally honest with you, till I did that. And when I did that, 2 verses of that, everybody, you know how ignorant people are, right? They egged it on laughing at him. Like, oh, because no one heard nothing like that in 88.
Right.
Can you imagine that? 88? So, and I wrote Spellbound. This is how real this shit goes. Ja Carney, the one that knocked Suge out, I lived with them in Brownsville in 85 when I was writing it. So all of them heard Spellbound before I met him. So him claiming that he came up with it, it's not true. If you hear his bars and he goes, another MC tried to beat IGE, but he went to C-A-U-G-H. How do you go to C-A-U-G-H-T? How do you go to COT? It doesn't make sense. Mine makes sense. Like let me give him his props. I'm gonna give him his flowers. He's the rapper for his people, for the voice of his people.
Right.
Those are the ones that get high and do that. When people say, oh, he's honorably telling the truth about it, that's not what that is. People like on his level will lie and steal and take whatever they can take to make it theirs.
Now, I gotta stop you there. Because one, he can no longer defend himself.
No, I agree with that.
Right.
I said that. But
So-
I know listen to me, I know this for a fact.
Right.
He's not an intellectual. And I'm telling you, it doesn't make no sense when you're writing a rhyme and I'm going through your paraphrases because we're rappers. There's another MC tried to B-I-T-E, but he went to C-A-U-G-H-T. That does not make sense. Whether he could defend it or not, I'm telling you what he rapped about. I'm giving you his bar, and I'm telling you that doesn't make sense. And that disqualifies you saying you wrote this and came up with that. It doesn't make sense.
Right.
You're not an intellectual. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying you're not dope. I'm not saying you're not a great artist. And I'm saying that don't make sense. And anybody with common sense is going to dial in and go, okay, mine, K Solo's, third party, has paraphrases supporting it. Mm-hmm. Alphabets in the coffee pot to keep the spelling perking. You can't, it's something that you. I'm not a GAME. This ain't the SANERAPPER style. It's not even close. Mm-hmm. I'm NEW for YOU and the CREW, paralyzing vowels. AE, it's not even close.
Right.
So I'm not discrediting him as an artist, because great artist, and I was very shocked and I told this to Reggie last night. Reggie said he's one of his favorite actors. And I said, yes, he is. Because he poured pain into his poetry, and I'm not taking anything from him. But K Solo, on that level of an artist, I'm giving him his flowers too.
Now, this was one battle.
It wasn't a battle. We never battled. It was just two people.
Just ciphering.
Not even that. Just exchange for, oh, that's nice, man. That's nice. That's what it was. But our culture is so bent on turning us against each other. When we left, it was a battle. It was everything other than it really was. Because I liked him when I left.
Right.
It was like, yo, man, you dope too. And we both came in the world and made it, and it turns into that. And I never understood it.
So when you saw him like slinging bars at you and saying certain things,
I had to leave it alone. I couldn't respond to that. And I did respond one time, but again, I come from a Bayesian family, and I was not allowed to have this discussion on this ground with these people that had our presence here. I couldn't do it. I wasn't allowed to even invest any time in it.
Right.
My great grandmother's a Moor. She's a Muslim. His whole camp was Muslim. I couldn't do it. I wasn't allowed to even look at him. I just had to say, hey, it's not true, and keep it moving. And I did. That's what I did. Did
you guys ever see each other?
I seen him at the Apollo one time with Method Man and Red, but again, man, I'm not, he didn't want to have the call. He just kept it moving. It's weird, right? And in our culture, in our subculture that we live in, we have to pit against each other every time. Like, it couldn't be both of us coexist, right? And I couldn't say this to you too. I was flattered that he did a version, because I did it for the next generation to read and write. Mm-hmm. It wasn't done for us to fight about that. I didn't want to be looked at as an ignorant person fighting him about something that was taught to teach children how to read. I didn't want to turn it into that, because it's going to make our diaspora look even worse. So I didn't want to add any. That's stupid. Right. I don't want to be a part of that. But Spellbound to me was a curse and a blessing. It was so gifted that it's to this. Like, it was like Satan was like, let's get them to kill each other. And I didn't want to be a part of that, especially for something as positive as that song was.
Right.
To have that at the end of it, it was a bad taste in my mouth.
Why would it?
Right, because I didn't do it for that. I did it so, like I said, for the next kids that are having problems, could say, nah, man, let's figure this out. Not be intimidated by, reading and writing in English.
Wow. If that ain't a sign of rehabilitation, I don't know what it is.
I mean, it's true. I wasn't trying to be ignorant, because, like I said, when I started figuring out where we trying to go, I didn't want to be in there with him like that. I wanted to, cheer him on too.
Knowing what you got in there for, and then being egged on like that.
Right.
And showing restraint for whatever reason.
Right. Well, let me say this to you too. Before he got with the Rough Riders, when he was by himself, he wasn't that confident in doing that with what I am. Mm-hmm. When he got with a different crew of people, then he got a little more confident. But again, I'm not here. Like, how do I look doing that? Like, we're gonna really be out here over spelling words on a record?
Yeah.
Okay. How ignorant is that? And like I said, and I loved his art form and what he did, but I didn't want to be a part of it. I didn't even want to be in the film with that conversation because, I'm not here for that. I come from intelligent people, and I don't want to be looked at as anything other than something that I am.
So how did the rest of the crew feel about it?
Well, that's funny because when his fame,
you know that's going on.
Yeah.
But then your brother Redman.
Well, Reggie stayed loyal to me too, but Reggie, at him being a Def Jam alumni, had to be loyal to that too, which was fine.
Right.
I understand that.
Right.
I never had an issue with that.
But did y'all ever have like conversations about it? Like, look, man, that shit ain't nothing.
No, one time when I think Reggie had said it was his cousin, and I said, "That ain't your fucking cousin," It was a kickback of that, and he, yo, man. I said, man, we had, because that's my brother.
Right.
That ain't your cousin. We saying that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, you already heard what, you know what I'm saying? So
right.
Yeah, we had that, but I always take the high road at the end of the day because I'm the older one, and I always got to be like, all right, I got to spin it. I can't let the boat go down like this because it's going to make us look crazy. And then when the next generation comes, they got to pick up where we left off. And I'd rather run the ball in the end zone so they can celebrate when they're picking up.
Right. All right. So moving on from that, did you feel like you were kind of stained? Like what?
Nah. I'm gonna tell you why.
What was your outlook on hip hop after that?
Well, I know it's unregulated in a lot of cases, right? Hip hop is still a young thing, right?
Mm-hmm. At that time,
yeah.
Of course.
And even for the guys like Russell Simmons, who are, the top guys, they're getting in scenarios that they didn't think they would be in, right? Because it's still unregulated, still fairly new. So I'm not worried about that part, and my history is not tainted. I went down in history for writing that. I didn't get, whatever people believe, they're gonna believe anyway. And that doesn't mess me up. I know what the real is. And anybody with common sense, like I explained it, can understand what it is. You gotta remember this too. At the time when me and him met, and he was trying to come on and he couldn't break in, him attaching himself to anybody to break in was a way to get in. So I can't fault him for that. That happens, right?
But you responded on wax, right?
One time. You know what I'm saying? But, again, my whole thing was this. I thought it was going to be something where we could actually, he never called me out to battle me. He never called me out and say, hey, meet me here or I'm going to beat you. He never did that.
Right.
So what am I going to do? You know what I'm saying? I'm still, I want to say this, though. I don't think he knew what I really was because I'm very private. I don't think he knew because when I went to Death Row in 92, I went on that mission too, like saying, and everybody said, they'll kill you. I didn't listen to that shit. I didn't listen to none of that shit.
Why didn't you?
I didn't give a fuck.
All right, first of all, how did you get out of your first situation?
I just told him, I said, yo, man, you're not doing the right thing. You got to get me out of this situation or we're going to have problems. And he got me out the situation and I went with Dr. Dre. And when I flew out there, Dre didn't even tell me what we were in. We were in it though. I was like, oh shit. I mean, it was hot. Right? So I remember Reggie coming there doing the record with Tupac. And this is when I knew it was real. Reggie's rolling the blunt in Woodland Hills. We in the apartment and he's like, come on, man, let's get your shit, man. Let's just go back home. But I'm under the impression that I said, go back home to what? I'm not going, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going back to that shit. I'm out here with Dre. We're going to get this shit cracking. And Redman's looking around like, Solo, these niggas kill niggas. And I'm like, I know where the fuck we at. Roll the blunt. I'm the toughest guy in the world this time. But my point I'm making is, I'm thinking that if I do this scenario, right? And X is saying something totally different on his end. He's saying, how did he hide his skirt? And I'm like, are you kidding me, bro? Like, he don't know who I am, clearly. We getting it. Let me show you what I mean. By me talking professional, you're getting it fucked up. You're getting it, and that's cool. But remember, it's all cute till it goes down. So it's always like that with anybody.
Right.
I lived in California with real UFC fighters who don't look like that. You see the cauliflower ears and they grab you. You're gonna be there till the cops come. So it's a different game for a pugilist, right? Who knows how to do that kind of shit. It's a different game. Just because he's talking and you think you figured that part out, it's a whole nother game when it gets to the mat.
All right. You get out your deal. You fly to Cali. You're with Dre.
I'm with Dre.
This is Dre just broke off from
With
Easy.
Eazy-E, yeah.
And
we're doing Snoop.
He's with Suge Knight.
Yeah.
Snoop is around. You're there. What's happening? What you seeing?
So there's 3 different elements here. There's Snoop Dogg with the Long Beach Crips.
Mm-hmm.
There's Corrupt with the Rolling 60s,
Mm-hmm.
and there's Suge Knight with the Bloods, with the Pyrus. So this is crazy because I'm in the room with 5 real high-end Brooklyn dudes and me, high-end. Sam Snead's there because he's there too because I discovered Sam. And the illest shit is I'm trying to let everybody know I didn't bring Black Wolf with me because Black Wolf's from Chicago. It's my right hand. That's my Tony Yayo. I didn't bring him because I knew if he went and me and him together, I didn't need him there. It was like, it would have been overkill. I was like, nah, you stay back. I got this. He stayed in my house, Monticello. I had my brother train in the fight. He could run about 5 miles up in the altitude where you know what I'm saying? So I'm out there and Sam Snead's not understanding. I'm trying to let him know, like, don't smile so much. You know, wear your face, wear your poker face. This is poker face shit. So we go to do the fucking Source Awards.
Mm-hmm.
So they're wearing the fugitive outfits, you know, because fugitive suits, right here in Madison in Manhattan. So Dr. Dre, we go over there and go get the suits. So everybody's ready to go do the show. That's the night Suge dissed Puffy.
Right.
And Suge said, yo, get in the cage. I said, get in the cage for what? I'm not performing. I mean, I got records done, but Sam Snead's out with, you know, you better recognize he can, you know what I'm saying? I'm going in the audience with my kids and watch the show. And I just did that. Everybody looking at me like, damn, Suge told him to do it. He did this. But I always did that with him. He said something I didn't like. He tried to get me to bring it to Redman for the album to come out. I said, I'm not doing that. While I was there, I'm not doing that. Room full of all of them. I'm not doing that. I don't have to do that. That's my brother. And if I had anything with him, I wouldn't need you anyway. Told him that to his face.
Hold on, rewind a second. Because you said when Redman went out there to do the record with Tupac.
Right.
Tupac was, you were with Tupac when this was.
No, Pac wasn't out yet. Redman had did it with Daz and them. With Method Man. Tupac wasn't out yet.
Yeah.
So after he did the record, because it wasn't the record for Tupac at that time.
Right, it was a record for...
Right, that he just did the vocals. And then he shows up at my spot. And he was like, come on, man, like, because he seen it wasn't moving. He kind of seen fractures in this shit going. Mm-hmm. Now this is another thing, I didn't think Suge was going to be that crazy to go against Dre. Because Dre's like, his sonic ear, it was like...
Not Bad Boy.
No, I'm thinking...
Bad Boy was in the sign.
This is what I'm saying. I didn't understand this fucking guy's whole mind because I'm saying to myself, and it's sad. It goes back to our culture again. Like I said, the way we are spun, it goes back to that. Because his upbringing is from Mississippi. His mother's from Mississippi.
Right.
Suge's. Mm-hmm. You know, so he's got this brutish shit going on, but he's not dialing in and understanding it. So when that happens and we're at the Source Awards and he says that shit, I think he tells Puffy that it was about Jermaine Dupri to throw him off. Because Puffy said, yo, was that for me? And he said, no, that was about Jermaine Dupri. And I see him walking off. Another thing I didn't understand when he said that.
Hold on.
Yeah, that's what he said.
You serious?
Yeah, that's what he said. I'm plugging, right? Because I'm there. And then check this out.
Hold on. You mean to tell me?
Yeah, that's what he asked me.
That this whole time, it was really supposed to be Suge Knight versus Jermaine Dupri.
That's what he told him.
Yeah,
Did you hear this before?
Yes.
Was this before Puff went on stage? Or after?
That's a little after.
After, okay, because Puff went on stage and said, I'm the one. He
and then when he asked him
that.
Then he was like, well, Jermaine Dupri. So,
wait, let me think about this. Because Bow Wow was with Jermaine Dupri.
Not yet. No.
Not yet. He was with Suge Knight first.
He was with us first because
he was with y'all first.
Yeah,
okay, he was with y'all first.
Because Bow Wow was living with. It's funny you say that because Bow Wow was living with Nancy Fletcher.
Hold on a second. Yeah.
Yeah, she was living with Nancy Fletcher. So no, it wasn't yet. And Bow Wow's father was my man. So we all at Death Row, and shit, it was crazy, man. So
where is the correlation? I'm trying to if he wasn't being sarcastic, what was he seeing at the time?
Well, let me tell you what happened. I'm show you the smoke and mirrors. He was really talking about Puffy, but
he's just doing.
Well, he's in New York, so he's just throwing the curb, right? He's throwing the curb, right? He's throwing the curb.
Nah, I was talking about Jermaine.
Yeah, he threw him a curb. And then Dre and Snoop started laughing like it was funny, and I was like, well, damn, if y'all ain't with it, why y'all got him going?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying, a little difference. Because when Dre's winning every award, I'm telling him, oh, you're going to win this one. And he's winning it.
Right.
Like, yo, you're going to get this one, Dre. And Dre's looking at me like, damn, this nigga's on point. So, you know what I'm saying? I just knew every one he was going to win. When he didn't win, I didn't say. So when he dissed Puffy and Dre and them, I know why Dre and Snoop, they started laughing. They tried to, like, in other words, they came with him. So they have to, you know, they didn't mean to.
The champion them on.
They had to champion them on, even though it was some ignorant shit. Right? So
I would have preferred that Suge just danced in the videos than do that
shit. Right. But and then I'm talking to Suge too, because I'm having conversations with him too. So when we get back to LA after that shit, when they came to do the New York video and Snoop's kicking the buildings down, and Biggie and them called that shot and shot the trailer up in the Red Hook Projects, we with them. We there. But
allegedly.
Right, allegedly. So, but we there. So me and Snoop go out to Long Island and get a dog. You know.
How are you feeling, being the East Coast guy down with the West Coast crew, who's now starting all this drama with the home front?
Well, I'm not really. I had a little, you know, egg on my shit too because I had to leave this motherfucker, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm over here. This is what's popping now. So I'm not really politically involved that way. Right. But I'm trying to direct them, but you know, people ain't really taking it like that. They're not listening. It's cute.
Are you recording with them? Like, what's happening with your project?
Of course, yeah, I'm recording. I'm getting it in. I'm doing my shit. We out there spending money. Everything is good. Cars and everything. We doing everything. Everything we supposed to do. But when I saw him beeline into Dr. Dre's girl and start fucking around, I already knew it was a rap. I was like, okay, this nigga's crazy. Like, I didn't even understand, like, why? You have $95 million, $195 million at this time. Like, you, like, bigger than Motown. Like, and I knew, that's when I dialed in on I said, wait a minute. I'm a fuck his bitch. I said, what? Are you kidding me? I couldn't understand it. Like, you got this much money and you're worrying about this. I just couldn't understand it. Right. No, I'm just saying. I just couldn't understand it.
Right.
And I'm hearing this shit. And I'm like, so, you know, and again, when you have that much money, you know this. You're not slow to this. You know if your friend got a whole bunch of money in the hood, he's not listening to you. You know that, right? Right. The gas is already in him. So he's the same thing on 195 million. He's not listening. Not saying it's going to make sense. So I'm starting to say, okay, it's time to go. And then Pac comes home. So when Pac comes home,
it's turned up to the max.
Pac comes home because he's got something to prove. He done got shot 5 times. He's mad, but he's never doing that with me though.
Do you believe Suge put the battery in his back to go with Big and everybody on the East Coast?
Oh yeah, because he thought that was
or was that already his intention?
No, that was his thing to push it over the top because he thought that's how he was gonna sell records.
The drama.
That's what he said. He always said that. If you quote him, if ain't no shit happening, ain't nothing gonna happen anyway. Like I said, the mentality of the South, I don't know if y'all know this, comes from the rednecks and the hillbillies.
Yeah, what's the Brutus mentality? Break that down.
So Popeye and Brutus, he was the Brutus of the industry. He was the brute.
Bluto.
He was the Bruto, right? Mm-hmm. And they're gonna rule with an iron fist, not conversation. I remember he had a rule at Death Row. He said it's not baseball, 2 strikes. I mean, that's some real shit. So, you know, Sam sneezed at the meeting. I told him, I said, yo, man, don't go to this meeting. Like, fuck that shit. Don't. Because I already knew, because if you got all these people in the room, like when I got there, you got these bloods sizing these guys up. Everybody's sizing each other up. Everybody's having a pissing contest. So if there's a crack in your armor in a situation, it's just like jail. It's going down. It's counterpart. It's going down. Anything goes down wrong, it's going down. So you got to know how to walk the red line. So in jail, we know how to walk the red line. If you don't, you know what's going to happen. So it's the same thing at death row. Everybody's live. And if you're not in your bag doing your shit like me, I'm running there every day so they see it. I'm jogging from Woodland Hills to Can-Am, which is in Tarzan, 7-mile run. Boom, 7 miles back. I'm never getting in the car saying, okay, yeah, I'll run. I'll run to the crib. And and I'm working out with them too. So they're seeing me. Very important that they see you engaged in your shit. So they know. They're not, other people ain't doing that. And when Sam went out there at that show smiling on the stage, I knew it. I was like, he said, "What's up, New York?" Smiling. I knew they zeroed in on that. That was one. Then the second one was he did a video with Wu-Tang. They did the Cream video. Sam Snead's wearing yellow. The colors of Death Row is black and red. They paying you to be on their label. They expect you at least to wear their uniform. Now you have to adapt your thought to gang culture now. You know what I'm saying? Because you're dealing with a gang member.
Right.
So these violations are coming out, oh, you didn't wear the colors. Ignorant shit like that. And how you charging Snoop Dogg $1 million for a beat and he's on the intro to your album. That's all, that was 2 strikes. Somebody got off the table, started fighting them. So yeah, stomping them out. Everybody, boom, boom, boom. So but that's not the edge. That's not the worst part. The worst part, they go to Monty's after he's acquitted from the murder, and his eyes like this, and they taking pictures with him in the press, and he's like, yo, the manager's telling the press, if you put them pictures in the magazine, we're gonna sue you. So, that's another level of disrespect, you know what I'm saying? Another level of, it just goes far beyond anything that I'm accustomed to, you know what I'm saying? Dealing with what we gotta deal with in our culture.
Seeing all this go down, red flags left and right, literally. Were you like, oh yeah, I'm not dropping no music over here. I need to get out of here. Like,
well, yeah, after Dre left, yeah, because when you seen him leave, this is how bad it got.
Right. So Dre was like the anchor, like,
no, this is how bad it got.
I'll stay.
No, he didn't stay.
As long as he's here.
No, he was like, hell no. Yeah, exactly. If Dre was there, and that wasn't good, because that wouldn't have went on if Dre was there, right? So, it would have been fine, because Dre's business. Dre, like us, Dre can go anywhere. He's a professional.
Right.
And I like that about him. I have nothing bad to say about Andre Young in doing business.
Right.
Solid all around the board. Snoop too.
Right.
But when you're dealing with Suge and the energy he's bringing to the table, which is, vinegar. Fucking vinegar.
Right.
Straight up. It is.
So, did you warn Dre when you heard things?
No, I'm trying to tell him
No,
I'm saying to him, I'm trying to ask him, but he's not responding like, and I want him to respond, because I'm looking at Dr. Dre like, because Dre's asking me questions too. We're comparing notes, and I'm like, all right, so what do you want? In other words, like, I want to get his approval too. Like, so what are we trying to do? And he's not saying it. So I'm like,
what do you mean?
In other words, I'm saying, like, because I know people too. Like, we can figure this shit out. It's not an issue. Like, I'm already here. I'm trying to figure it out. Like, okay, are you with this? Like, because we can send some motherfuckers in. The guy that knocked him out is my brother. My brother knocked his ass out before. Literally knocked him out, one blow. So I'm like asking him, let me know.
Like, what you doing? What we doing?
Right, that's what and he's not responding.
You're like, yo, Dre.
Right, because I'm already with the bullshit. And I'm like, right, let me know.
Right.
Let me know if this is, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm not.
Is this the road?
Right, or you really afraid of this guy to the point where if we do it, you're going to be like, I'm not trying to see that part, right? So I'm trying to get clearance. And he's not saying nothing. The next thing you know, he's gone.
Why do you think he wasn't saying anything?
I don't know. I don't know if he could trust me like that at the time. I don't know. That could have been. Because he doesn't really know.
He might have thought
that
you were scouting.
Maybe. I don't know. But I never was friends with him like that. I put it this way. When he left, I left the week after. I was gone.
Right.
I'm loyal. But my whole point was I'm trying to ask him, we're the same age. All three of us. What's up? Let me know. He's not giving me any,
Right.
So I don't know what to do.
Did Suge trust you?
No, but Redman was on the end. See, Redman and me are so close that had I got the word, Reggie was ready to do something. At that time, Reggie was still the old Reggie. Him and the twins was still, with the bullshit.
Right.
So I'm getting, but I'm not getting it from Dre, so I can say anything. So I didn't know. And I'm like, and then when I came back and he was gone, and then Sam Snead got beat up.
When you came back from...
In other words, when I came back from, when I came to the studio again, Dre just left. It was abruptly. It wasn't like Dr. Dre's leaving and we're planning to, we're gonna boycott this nigga. It wasn't like that. Nobody was talking. He just upped and left. Dr. Dre ain't here no more. It was like, and then everybody was like, what? So I already knew, okay, if Dr. Dre's not here, this shit done. I'm not fucking with you. You don't know nothing about. I know music. My dad played. If you're not sonically correct in music, it's not happening.
Right.
So I'm knowing that you thinking that because he's unexperienced in music, he's thinking because I beat him up, I'm tough, and that has nothing to do with music.
Right.
That don't have nothing to do with it making a hit record. So I didn't want nothing to do with that. I'm like, then I left this shit. I'm that too, but I'm not doing that shit. I'm trying to get away from that stupid shit.
Right.
So I knew that there was no way we were staying with Suge Knight. There was no way, bro. And then and I told Sam don't go to the fucking meeting, and he goes and he gets beat. I'm like, damn, bro, like, come on. You know what I mean? And then my other man gets chased out the studio. They chased his ass out. He's saying New York on the mic at Sam C's session, and that just made it worse too. And I'm like, so I just left. I was like, you know what? This ain't. My mother said a good run is better than a bad stand. Let's get the fuck up out of here before somebody gets killed because, nobody's listening. Everybody's doing what the fuck they want to do, and he's getting worse. And I'm like, this is.
This ain't a working environment.
So I held out, and then Redman picked me up at the airport, and then I love Reggie, man. I don't give a fuck. That motherfucker, he stood the ground with me all the way. Like, then we did the Big Brother record, and we were on our way, and I really looked at him like, and then he started like really developing into what the intellectual priority that we were actually embracing now. And then, just to see him there at the airport when I got off that plane and he was there, it was just like, wow.
He told you.
He told me.
Did he hit you with the, I told you so?
Yes, he did. Yeah.
Wow.
But he hugged me like, like he you don't got people like that.
Yeah.
People like him and Meth come. You don't come a lot.
I agree.
They're solid.
Super solid.
Super
solid. If Method Man, meeting him earlier on kind of messed my head up.
Yeah, I understand.
Because
you wasn't ready for it to go like that.
You meet Method Man, you're like, yo, he's super solid.
Yeah.
Then you meet everybody else and you're like, the hell? Oh. I met a solid one early. I'm glad that I did, but it kind of threw me off.
Right.
Because now I wasn't prepared for,
right.
all the fakery and buffoonery of 99% of the rest of them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I get you.
And how, it's just weird shit.
And I kept it 100 with Snoop too. Like when Snoop, and he bounced because remember him, to see him in the shit he was in, I'm like, damn. When we all left, everybody was gonna kill him.
So M was there.
Not M. M wasn't there yet. M wasn't there yet.
You said Dr. Dre.
Dr. Dre. When Snoop left, we all left Snoop there. Snoop was left.
Right.
We all got the fuck up out of there. Snoop was left there.
Yeah.
And I used to be like telling Red, like, damn, but we left Snoop there. And he'd be like, and then Reggie would approach Suge about that war too, with the twins in Vegas. Like, yo, man, what's up with Snoop? And then Suge had to leave that shit alone. Eventually he left it alone, but people was on it, like, in other words, everybody had Snoop back too, but we weren't there no more.
Right.
The distance-wise, we had to get the fuck out of there because that was a hot, real hot zone, bro.
Damn.
And you're talking about real gangbangers. Like, we ain't talking about no fake shit.
Right.
You're talking about 6 foot, 6'5", and big, better. And you to be in the room with them every day for like 4 or 5 years, you got to be a bad motherfucker.
It's a lot of pressure.
That's a lot of pressure.
What do you think would have happened if you went to Dre and was like, yo, Suge is trying to make a move on your girl right now. This shit falling apart. Let's leave now.
Good question. I don't know because he probably went for it because their relationship was kind of stagnated at the time it happened.
Right.
She wasn't getting what she wanted out of it. I just didn't think she was that.
Like she would.
I didn't think so. Right. A lot of us don't believe women are like that, right? You don't want to believe that. But, no, I'm just saying. You don't want to believe that.
You might be asking the wrong guy, man.
No, I'm just saying. I don't want to believe that. I don't want to believe that, but guess what? Like he said,
No, I'm not gonna say women as a whole. But do I believe that in anger or revenge that some women are capable?
Oh my God.
Definitely.
Oh,
Definitely.
no question.
I think in anger and revenge, some of your homeboys are capable.
Oh, of course.
You know what I'm saying?
That's why the circle's real small.
Right. Real small, like a peephole.
Yeah. Yeah, fuck with them niggas.
So you got out of that. You're back with Red. You drop a record that's like super crazy.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, oh.
Yeah.
It don't really got a hook. It's just fire. It's like everywhere.
Yeah.
What's the feeling? What's the feeling?
Just with my
what's
bro
the direction?
again, we're on the road.
Right.
We're having so much fun. The little kids are growing up. My son, he's with his uncle all the time now. And I mean, it never stopped.
Right.
We're still here in the space.
Right.
You know, last night, I don't know if they know, I did me, Redman, hit the stage again.
Rock the bells.
Yeah, and shout out to all of them guys. And I just had a great time, you know, because I'm in a different place now. I live in another state. But just being, like, when I get that call and everything's there and it's my bro again. It's like the same shit, you know? It's like, you know, it's just crazy. That whole energy is like you said, it never stopped after I got off that plane with them. I still, you know, going hard. And I want to shout out my son because he doing this thing with Tyler Yahweh and them and, you know, Sly Glizzy. They all rocking because they young.
Right.
Different energy. But, you know, we got him, you know, because he still comes back to us. One time he does a record and I'm like, yo, you're cursing on the record. Grandma is not trying to hear it. And he's like, yo, tell her don't listen to Facebook. And I called Red and Meth. I had to call Red and Meth because they were going to take him to the VMAs. I said, he can't go. He got to change that shit.
Right.
And they called, yo, change that shit. Grandma's still running, nigga.
Wow.
You know, man?
That's what it is.
You know what I'm saying?
That's what it is.
Shout out to them dudes, though, man. Them dudes is, like you said, man, you don't get up solid ones like that.
Yeah.
You know, and through that, it was really hard for him to see that and then come there and be like, yo, it's time to go. And I'm like, no, it ain't. Roll the blunt. Nah, nigga, fuck that. Like, I'm like, I know where we at. And you know what I'm saying? And I understand what he's saying. What he's saying is, nah, nigga, we ain't gotta do this. We got our own shit. We got our own shit.
What do you think put you in a position where that was an option? Do you feel like you felt pressure like, all right, you know, because this industry, it's like people gravitate so much. People shift and curve so much to whatever's hot. It can give you insecurities.
That was part of it.
You know what I'm saying?
That was part of it. Very good.
And, you know, being with something like that, you know, it looks like it's more than industry shit. That's the appeal, right?
That was the appeal too, because to see, when I went out there and seen Snoop, you know, you seen $1 million house and all of the cars outside and you like, yo, we can have this shit too. And then you're entertaining it, but you're not really happy in it.
Right.
You know, I was happy when it was just, you know, my children and, you know, the people in my life. And then we had not as much, but we were good. It was better. It meant something, you know?
Right.
That really didn't mean nothing. The Woodland Hill, it was nice. Don't get me wrong, it was nice. But I don't come from there, you know? And I learned a valuable lesson too. Like Mike Tyson told me, he was like, you gotta remember, like Mike Tyson pops in every now and then on scenarios. He's ready to fight Flo Rida one day. For I don't know what reason.
For what? What?
I don't know.
You can't just throw stuff like that out there.
No, I'm just telling you.
Now I need to know what happened, where I was at.
This is crazy shit, right?
I need the details, bro. You can't just say to he was ready to fight Flo Rida. I never heard that before.
So we're hanging out in Sherman Oaks in Cali.
Right.
And sidebar, right? And then Mike Tyson's there.
Right.
So he's with he got the big ass the Phantoms outside, and we going to get him the weed and shit.
Yeah.
So I think it was Craig Boogie and all of us there, and then I don't know. I
What
hear
year is
something.
this?
This was before Flo Rida got on. He's not even a rapper yet.
He's not a rapper.
He's not even a rapper yet. Flo Rida. This is before he did the record with Nelly. This is about a year before he did the record for Nelly, because Nelly didn't show up.
Right, but he's still a big, tall.
Oh yeah, big nigga. Tim's on. He trying to rap like we rap, but he didn't find his voice yet till he did the Nelly record. And him and this man LB from Philly. Shout out LB. So they getting into some shit. I don't even know what it's about. All I know is Devontae and them is not trying to go in the room because Mike is mad. Mike going through it. He walking the pacing. And I'm like, I'm going here, man, for this nigga to do something crazy. I go open the door, and I'm like, yo, Mike, what the fuck is going on? These are my friends. And he said, what? I said, you heard, these are my friends.
He's talking about Flo Rida
and LB. I said, you can't do nothing to them.
Where did you meet them at? How did they?
Oh, LB and Flo?
Yeah.
They was with my boys. They was at a spot with Devontae. They had like this compound that everybody stayed. I had a room there.
Right.
And Flavor Flav had a room there. And they was just, trying to figure their shit out. And they was there too. So Mike Tyson has a great relationship with Devontae. Mm-hmm. So he come over there just to kick the breeze, And I'm happy to be there. And I remember I go downstairs and everybody's like, I'm looking niggas pale face. I'm like, what the fuck wrong? Mike in there, man, yo, niggas ain't trying to. I'm like, what? With them niggas? This nigga's an R&B nigga. So Flo Rida's not going in the room while it's going down because he knows if he goes in the room, it's just going to escalate. Mm-hmm. So I go in there, break the ice. I said, yo, Mike, my nigga. I said, yo, man, Mike, these are my friends. He said, him? I said, yeah.
What did it start over?
I didn't even get to the bottom of it. All I know is this. When I got in there, Mike told me, he said, do me a favor. I'm going to leave these niggas alone. You help my friend Canibus. And that's how I met Canibus. That was the swap. Word to my mother. He was so upset. He said, well, then help my man Canibus. And I was like, I don't have a problem with that. I'll help him. So I brought Canibus with me to Orange County, because I was with the UFC shit. Mm-hmm. And Canibus stayed out there with me, and was with him building his shit back up. Mm-hmm. Because Mike Tyson, and he left Flo Rida and them alone.
Hold on, was this after the LL situation?
Yeah, this is after it. This was the comparative damage. This was like damage control. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Wow.
But my whole thing with these guys, which I never understood, I thought about this later, because I talked to my mother about this, and she said, he's Jamaican, right? I said, yeah. She said, he's Bayesian. And I was like, okay, cool. But L figured it out too. L backpedaled on it too. He was like, his ego was too at that time. It's understandable.
I don't think I've heard where he said that.
Yeah, that's what he all said. He said
his ego at the time
was too, like, he was a savage. He couldn't handle it. Give you Mike on, he just couldn't handle it. But
I can see that, because being who L was when he came on the scene, not to say in it, say that he was Canibus, but prior to, if you think about how Canibus came on the scene and how he was revered, how he's looked at, how he was the guy that was killing everything, it was probably reminiscent, and people might have felt like there was a
but you know what I noticed about Canibus? You know what I noticed about Canibus? Very intelligent dude, loves hip hop, but he's not from our community.
Right.
So a lot of shit he didn't understand, he would fall in. He didn't understand. He didn't come from British Walkers, Playboys, Pleats, mock necks. He doesn't know the culture like that.
Right.
He's from Jamaica.
Right.
So he pitfalls into things he doesn't know. You know what I'm saying? And I understood that when I got around him. I was like, wait, he wasn't like it was me and Reggie in the room. He doesn't understand certain things, but very articulate and very meticulously smart.
Yeah, we had a great interview.
Because his grandmother was really on him too about, like, he was terrified of his grandmother. You know what I mean? And being somebody, So going to the army and all that was things that I would imagine he would have made her happy too, and that's what I mean about how they spin us. See what I mean? How their culture spins us and how we're supposed to think.
I think sometimes we spin ourselves, especially in that L and Canibus situation. I think that lyrically, you think it's a lyrical battle, but after you sell millions of records, it's never just a lyrical battle. And once you're part of a corporation who depends on making money off of your product, it's never just gonna be a lyrical battle.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, had you got into it
Them
with
two are
X,
good now, right?
huh?
Them two are good now, though.
I've never seen any footage of L and Canibus hugging
Yeah,
nowhere,
but
I think he. Matter of fact, right across the street, Canibus was like, "Yo, man, I just wanted a hug, man." That's what he said, right? And he wanted to be embraced by L, but L still had that battle spirit in him. And once it seemed like there was an issue between them, these corporations went to work on it. And then everyone in the industry, as fake as it is, motherfuckers started picking sides because they felt like they had to. So now it kind of spills out. It's no longer just a rap battle. It's no longer, I just want to hear what he says and I'll hear what he says in return. Now it's, I can't give you this beat because I'm cool with, I can't put you on this tour because I'm cool with, you know what I'm saying? Like, or, it becomes more than what it is. So in a way, a lot of this drama, you think that it's just, it's just a little rap battle or whatever. Nah, that only happens in battle rap. That don't happen in the industry. It don't.
Nah.
Yeah.
But I just say this. I know at the end of the day, when I look at hip hop as a whole, I know there's room for all of these guys to coexist. It's like the superheroes. Like when you look at Marvel, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't revere Hulk more than I look at Iron Man. I look at all of them and I go, I'm in the room with superheroes.
Right.
And I know hip hop is that to these kids. And when they look at all of them, they're superheroes to them. And I think that culturally, we can coexist and make, that should have been a WWF moment too. If I add, you know what I'm saying? Because what's sad about that? When someone loses and they can't eat and their art form suffers behind shit like that when it's entertainment.
It's supposed to be.
Right, no,
But it's not.
exactly. But it should be.
Right.
It really should be. Because that's what Ed McMahon did in wrestling. It was always entertainment with them.
But again.
And everybody went home a hero.
Right, but that's scripted. These guys are picking their own fights. They're picking their own fights. I don't think. Yeah,
this is not scripted.
Like Drake and Kendrick didn't come out of nowhere. That was happening.
But let me ask you this about that.
There was a buildup for years.
But didn't that happen? But didn't that happen too because he's light skinned and he's brown? Wasn't that a big part of it? Because that always shows up. Muhammad Ali, Joe Frazier, it always shows up in our diaspora. The light skinned guy versus the dark skinned guy. Always. Yeah. Always.
The light skinned versus the dark skinned guy?
It's always that. It's always that. To me, I always seen it. Willie Lynch letter, it comes to life every fucking time. Every time you see it, it's like, let me guess. He's dark skin. There he goes. And then there people are,
light skin versus dark skin.
All the time. That's what I see. And and that goes back to the slavery days. It's like they get, it goes back to slavery days because they thought the light skinned guy had it better. And they spun him like he had it better. Get out there, master says so and so, and then, this thing goes on. It's been going on for a long time. And that's what I mean about their culture spins our subculture.
Right.
We look at what they do, and then we gotta be as ignorant as them. Because their ignorance is like, it's overwhelming. If you think about Southern culture, it's ignorance. You just look at the Hee Haw show. It's like, the buck dance was today's Crip walk. Yeah. If you Google buck dance and you see the buck dance, you think the dude's Crip walking.
Nah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You said the buck dance.
B-U-C-K, dance. It's like the motherfucker's Crip walking. I said, oh, shit. You see it?
Hold on. National championship buck dancing. Okay, all right.
But look at the two black dudes in the film. It's an old film. You see him stepping?
It look like tap dancing.
You see it? But you see what I'm talking about though? You see the first move? You see the leg?
Hold on.
That motherfucker doing the Crip walk.
It looks like a mixture of tap dancing and Just say hold on a second. Hold on a second.
That's some real shit.
I heard of Dirty Wines. I heard Dirty Wines. That's what I heard of. See this. Yeah, and y'all check this out and leave it in the comments. Do you feel like this is is this the forefather of breakdancing and crip walking?
Well, I ain't know about breakdance, but I know this look like that Crip walk. When I seen that shit, I said, "Oh shit!"
Your man did a handstand in that video.
Yeah.
That looked like breakdancing to me. Okay, this is tap dancing, but I get what you're saying.
Well, let me say this to add to that. Gangster culture started in New York on Mulberry Street,
Right.
and when you look at the
It's
movie,
crazy.
Gangs of New York, the man said, "Get that nigger," and it was an Irishman running across the screen. And then 15 seconds later, he said, "Get that black nigger," and a black man ran across the screen.
Wow.
So let's dial back. Bloods and Crips, Republican and Democrat, boxing, red and blue. That shit stays in it keeps growing.
Right.
And it keeps going. It's not stopping. It's not going anywhere. It just keeps going. So the red and blue, where's this coming from? If it's not what it was, how is it not? Where did it come from?
We're gonna take a 5-minute break on that. All right, where we leave off at? The buck dance?
The buck dance.
The buck dance. I don't know, man. I don't know. You think that, I don't know. It's forefather.
It's so similar though.
In a way. But then they did a break dancing move too, so I don't know.
Could go either way.
Speaking of break dancing, how did you get out of your Death Row contract?
So I just let it lapse after I left. And he went he went where he went. And the company got, my attorney at the time was Robert Lieberman, same attorney as Snoop's. So we never got a release though.
Never got a release out of that.
That shit went down.
How much music did you record over there?
About three or four projects.
3 or 4 projects.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So was there any pushback when you came back on the East Coast and
Nah.
you did the record with Red?
Yeah. Because I kept my shit fairly what it was. And funny being that when we was at Death Row, we brought that black exploitation there. That whole movement was we just knew that shit. We grew up in that era. I met so I'm over there at Death Row and I meet Norman Whitfield one day. I'm at the Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles where PM Dawn got killed, PM Rock got shot. So I'm in there.
Rock, rest in peace.
Yeah, rest in peace, PM Rock. And we and one day the guy shows up and he's at my table and he shakes my hand and I didn't know who he was.
Damn.
And then Norman, guy named Melvin Kelly, R. Kelly's cousin, was like, "That's Norman Whitfield," but I didn't know who he was. Okay. Come to find out, he's the guy that wrote all those songs for the Motown. So as Dr. Dre was doing The Wash, that was about him. He did The Wash. He's the creator of it. So buys my food, he says, "How many hit songs do you have?" And I remember I think I had 7 and I poked my chest out, because I thought, I need 7. And he said, "I had 700. And I was like, oh shit.
He's lining you up.
He lined me up, you know what I'm saying? And but it was a good lineup too, because when I talked to my mother, she knew who he was. And then he was telling me, heard it through the grapevine, and Papa was a Rolling Stone. These are all his songs he wrote.
Wow.
Now he's from Harlem. We in Harlem. Shout out to Norman Whitfield because he's gone.
Yeah.
But what a great person. He was just telling me about how the era was and how they built. His career started when he was going to a funeral in Detroit and the car broke down and he stayed in Detroit. And then he met Norman Whitfield. he met Barry Gordy. And then Norman Whitfield got to write songs for his artists. And that whole thing, he had a whole era, dedicated to him in Motown.
Wow. 700.
Number ones.
Number one. 700 number ones.
Yeah. So yeah, I was, and he mentored me too.
In what way?
He gave me this board, the MCI 500. I took it, the old board that their songs were created on.
Right.
Still, you don't have the preamps that you can't make that sound analytical. It was just real warm.
Right.
And I got that, and he would just tell me pointers, hours of conversations, like on, another one that was just feeding my ideology that, and he kept telling this kid something about this guy. He's gonna use this, like they couldn't believe it. But
what was one of the I guess best jewels that he gave you?
He said it's not as we think it's gonna be. It's gonna be how it's supposed to be. And that meant like the times that's happening now, like me thinking, like for instance, me thinking that whatever I'm thinking negative on something, that it's not gonna be like that, the outcome of it, it doesn't have to be. And if you think in a positive light and use the pieces before you, it's always gonna be a different scenario. And he's right about that, because I didn't think you could use all of those counterparts and the pieces in the game. And sure enough, by Norman saying what he said, I started doing that, Started running with guys that work for Parliament. Musically, I can hear the different things bouncing off walls. Like he told me another thing too, how sometimes you can hear music in a totally different light when you're in another room and you're playing and it's bouncing off a couple of walls. To hear that there, to record that, that's where the hits are. And I would do that with a tape recorder, hear different things and hum different sounds and then make them later. And it's true, like you can create it just with little, you'd be surprised how you can make a hit record. And he was really diverse in that.
Can you give me an example of the application of that?
Okay, so if I'm beating on the table, like me and Jay-Z make records,
right? We're
beating on the table, we'll find the record.
You said you and Jay-Z?
Yeah, Jay-Z beats on the record.
Right.
He beat on the table to make a record.
Right.
And I can do that too. I don't miss a beat. While I'm talking, I can be beating and structure the record and then go in the studio, you know exactly where you're going with it because it starts with the drum track.
Right.
And that builds everything else up. Some people don't do it that way, but the old guys do it that way. And I adopted that way too. Works better for me that way because when I was a kid, I didn't have the equipment to sample. So I had to do everything, manually.
I heard stories of like Tupac just rapping songs to drum patterns and then the producers creating the record later.
I saw Tupac when he came out of jail. Now, this is what I'm going to say. I ain't taking no credit from Pac because I love Pac. He was a very good artist and he was dope. But Pac was in jail for 2 years before he got to death row.
Right.
So when he's writing songs as he's writing them and he's saying, oh, he's just writing them and spitting them, I'm going to say I don't think that was the case. I think he was in a room with guys he wasn't comfortable with and he's making it look like he's creating magic. Because you got to memorize these songs.
Right.
To come out and spit them. You're in jail for 2 years. You're not just come out penning shit. Right.
Right.
You're using your head, right? You got to pen. You're penning shit. And everybody's like, and this is what they're saying when they leave the studio. He just wrote that and spit it. And they're leaving and I'm like, I'm not going to say nothing.
So hold on.
Right. You see
Wait a minute. You saying Tupac was hitting him with the okie doke like,
no,
I wrote this in jail.
No, I didn't know.
But I'm gonna act like I'm rewriting it.
But do you see what I'm saying? But he's writing the rhyme, right?
Right.
In jail.
Right.
I mean, in the studio.
Right.
And he's spitting it, but you was in jail for 2 years. So
right.
So I'm not saying you give me okey dick, but am I to think that you wrote this right now? Or where's the stuff that you wrote for 2 years that's just in your head? I'm just asking.
Right.
So I'm saying to myself, is he doing this or is this pre-wrote and he's writing it now and spitting it? I'm not saying he can't do it, but I know
Right.
you've been in jail for 2 years.
Were you watching him?
Yes.
Were you in there like?
No, I'm there in the room, but I'm saying
Like
no, he's.
that was already on the paper. He ain't writing nothing.
Nah, I wouldn't say that. I know he was talented.
Right.
But I'm just saying, you were in there for 2 years.
Right.
So, I mean.
Where's the stuff you wrote?
Exactly.
Right.
Because you're writing this like you're writing it right now.
Right.
And how do I know that that's the case when you were in jail for 2 years? That's all.
Right.
You know. But talented guy. A lot of pain on the record. Dear Mama was one of my favorite records. When I heard that, I got goosebumps. Same when I heard Gin and Juice for the first time. I just knew Dre knew what he was doing.
Right.
I was like, oh shit, you know. Because you went and witness it, right? That's what you come out there for.
Right.
I'm going to see this shit happen. And,
Right.
Or, you know, first time I'm in the studio with Dre and I heard, I Get Lifted, the sample. Boom, 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 And when I heard the keys, and this is before Snoop came in the studio to lay the vocals. When I heard those keys that Manuel Dean laid on that shit, the hair stood up. I couldn't believe it. I was like, whoa, this fucking line is the truth. Like, you know, and the way he puts the record together, it's sonically correct. Everything's in the middle, you know. Now, Sam would make the outer track, like I was telling you, the bass track, and then Dre would throw things on top of it and take it to the next level. He's done that with Keep Your Heads Ringing and Natural Born Killers.
Right.
So Sam Sneed's the bottom, and then Dr. Dre does the other stuff.
Right.
But, you know, amazing architect to watch. Norman Whitfield did too. I seen Norman Whitfield mix some songs too when I was there, but I couldn't get them two together. And Dr. Dre was paying homage to him with The Wash. Our culture's weird, right? I was trying to be like, but I know Norman, like, I can bring him, like, you know?
Yeah.
And Dr. Dre paid homage to him through The Wash. Right. Dope shit.
But you weren't able to make that connection.
Nah, because I had left him. I was leaving at the time. It was towards the end of my stay at Death Row.
How long was it before your contract was up?
I had a 4-year contract. But, you know, it's like when Tupac finished his shit real quick and he was done and he was ready to leave, I would have had issues too, not realizing it because he sold 75 million records. He had no money. Yeah, Tupac sold 75 million records on All Eyes on Me and didn't have no money. Everything was in Suge's name. Wow. Everything was in Snoop too. Nothing was in his name.
Wow.
So, you know,
So do you had the same kind of
Of course, I just didn't come out yet. My shit wasn't done and mixed totally and came out yet, but I would have probably ran into the same problem too.
Wow. What happened to the 4 albums?
They're vaulted. I don't know because I took some of my reels and they had some too. Suge had some of them. He sold a lot of that shit to Hasbro. Hasbro owned the Death Row Cadillac till Snoop got it.
The catalog, yeah.
They had the whole shit. John Payne still tells me about like, oh, it's probably here. We have no idea where all of it's at. We have some of the stuff, but all of it's not in our possession.
So you didn't leave with any of it?
No, I left with what I created. A lot of their shit that they had their reels too.
Right.
Because we came with shit too, but we didn't. That was ironic too when he would make everybody leave their reels there. We didn't do that. We took our reels with us every night. And, you know, nigga, we taking these home. Like, we didn't leave them in the vault. And Tupac seen that shit too. He was like, yo. But everybody else left their shit in the vault with him. And then when he sold everything and it got messed up, nobody really recovered their shit. Sam Snead shit's still out there too. Sam had some banger shit, man.
Damn. Thank God for CD burners and MP3s now, bro.
And that dude Flex from Ohio was fighting them when Tupac dudes rushed the room because that rapper was saying he from New York and they was rushing him to fight the room. Flex was fighting them. Was fighting them outlaws, like hitting them till it stopped. They was like, all right, calm down, man. Like, he didn't run. He stood his ground. Flex from Ohio. He stood his ground, man.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Shit got crazy out there, man. Everybody on the East.
So coming back to this side, getting the record, I'm guessing you dropped that record after the contract was up, right?
Right.
Now you're back, but I don't remember hearing any releases past.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. Life gets in the way. Kids are going to college, right? I'm in a different space. I moved to Florida. I started working at Full Sail with the kids because all my friends are professors there. Different programs are taking place. Redman is definitely wanting me to press, he's pressing the issue, like, drop some new music. I didn't have the energy for it at the time,
Wow.
I don't know. Just seeing my daughter graduate from with a master's degrees, Kayla's older sister, Shani, and then getting the bachelor's behind that, I just started getting real mature in my lifestyle, Wasn't like I needed the money,
Right.
And I still do shows when I do shows, and that's still there. But to create new music, it was like I didn't see where it was gonna make sense. I didn't know where it was gonna fit in. And also the paradigm changed, like the shit that they talk about now, right? The music I made music so my mother could hear it. And I didn't make music that wasn't worldwide, globally correct. I made music that everybody could enjoy. I didn't make those kind of raunchy, ratchet records that they do today. So I don't know if the market would allow that to happen. I didn't know if there was a market for it still, to tell you the truth.
Oh, I feel like there definitely was a market for it when you look at the successes of Lauryn Hill, Wyclef, Tribe, still being able to come back and go platinum. I felt like there was a market for it, but it wasn't the dominant, like everybody wasn't pushing that. Right. It was all, there's these rumors that there was a meeting about the direction where hip hop should go. And
I heard about that.
Do you believe in that? Do you believe that,
I believe that kind of shit.
Gangster rap and the promotion of it was directly tied to some plan for privately owned prisons to get filled?
I agree with that. Yeah, it makes sense. Because when we were 1865, when we got free, they had to think of another way to put that in effect, because that's what built their whole scenario anyway.
Right.
Free trade, free labor, built America.
Right.
So now if you're locked up and they're making money for you and they can get you to do that shit work, that's still happening. Under the fact of you lose your freedom and you broke a law, we got you. 9 years, yeah, that could happen, and it does happen.
Right.
So yeah, I believe it. But another thing too, the way CDs are being not distributed, they're saying, oh, that's not an industry no more. And I'm like, what do you mean? The cars still has a CD player.
Not the new ones.
I mean, the ones that I saw, I'm like, yeah, not the new ones.
Yeah,
right?
not the new ones. You know what I mean?
But at the same time,
somebody gave me a CD yesterday, and I'm looking at it. I'm like, where am I gonna play this? You know what I'm saying? Like, popping in the PlayStation 5, like.
Instantly look for the link.
But you know what, too? Right. Okay, outside of that, though, right? When do you think they stopped making CDs in the car? It just started, though, recently, right? Not too long ago, right? Because they've not been making CDs in rap and music for like at least 15 years, right? So, okay, but before that, when they're saying that, oh, we're not going to do this no more, was the backlash because of hip hop? Because we were making so much money? If you get 1 million streams now, you can't buy shit.
Right.
They monetize everything we do there. When we get a door and they're like, oh, we figured it out. We got something.
Right. It's a trap door.
They come and figure out how to fuck it up.
But now a lot of people are selling vinyls. A lot of artists are selling vinyls now.
I mean, that's cool.
Right.
But it ain't like it was before. Like when you seen guys like the guys that were coming out that were the marquee guys and they were saying, 16, making more than your pops. It was fighting. And they're hearing this and the backlash is what we're seeing now. The monetization where we're not making it now like that.
Right.
It's not as wealthy as it was before, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't like in the Motown era when Smokey Robinson and the Miracles did something and it went through the roof. It went through the stratosphere and you could tell by their lifestyle, everything was just embodied, just power, black unity was just, it's not like that now for the rappers. Like it was. And it's not like that no more. It's like they're monetizing it. It's like, it's a joke. And like, who came up with that system? It's a joke. Because if you got 1 billion streams and you can't buy a house, that's a problem. A major problem. 1 billion streams? Like, what happened? You know, and it's like I said, we're a subculture in a culture, and they're always gonna govern it.
When you say always,
They always have.
I feel like, to a certain extent, what you're saying is true. I feel like the ingenuity of our people is always to figure out a way.
And we do.
And we do.
And what happens?
And then they try to,
because this is a prime example.
unfigure it out. You know what I mean? They try to kind
of
close the trap door on that. But I feel like there's always something on the verge of revolutionizing the game. There's always something there. Something that it just takes enough people to popularize it, and it's on again.
Right. I hope you're right, because to see where that went with that, I'm like, oh, this shit is like horrible for the industry, because like even Snoop, they're like, you know, I heard Snoop a couple times say it. He was not happy with it. He said 1 million streams. He doesn't even want to deal with that shit at all, which you can't blame him.
Right.
And you know, how do you? It's so segregated right now too. The different genres and shit. And it's like, it's crazy. The industry's totally crazy. Way better before. You know, it's like when my dad drove truck, he told me like, today's now, the way the union runs now, it's nowhere compared was for the truck drivers then. You know, and it's similar to hip hop. It's nowhere compared to what the glory days of the golden era, the guys in the Fresh Fest and how the money was.
Right.
And it was so young. And the corporate America got some way they ruffled their feathers so bad where they monetize it so it cuts our head off. It's like, you got to figure another way. Like you said, we'll come up with something else, and then they'll do the same thing. The tit for tat goes, you know. Because everybody's not happy with our global success.
Right.
Let's be 100%. Everybody's not happy for our culture. You know, everybody's like, we're still, to a lot of people, under their boot, right? Puerto Rican culture, I don't know if people know this, but you can't even vote for the president of Puerto Rico. Right, you can't. You're not allowed to. You don't have that right. So, but they wanted you to fight in the Spanish War, and you did. And you wanted to be like them, so you made your flag look like theirs, but they don't like you like that. So, you know, they got a lot to learn too in their culture, you know, because if they'd have stood with Black solidarity when we were going through it, maybe we would have had a bigger opportunity, right? But we were on the picket lines, not by ourselves, because there was some Jewish people there, a lot of different people were there, but I didn't hear the Spanish voice out there in that area. I didn't hear them like that. You know, I didn't hear them behind Martin Luther King and them. Their attitude to me was like, oh, that's your fight. But did you know what happened in your situation?
Right.
It was worse.
And I think it's really important for all of us as human beings, when we see some sort of injustice, when we see some sort of oppression, to speak up, because that silent voice becomes a cosign for it to happen to you.
Yes.
And a lot of people don't think. They always think, oh, it ain't gonna happen to me. Okay.
And it does.
All right. You didn't say nothing when you didn't stop it. So now no one's gonna say nothing when it's happening to you.
That's not good.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
All right. So where do we close this off at? How do we make a happy ending out of this?
Okay, so, well,
You stepped away from hip hop. You said you were maturing.
yeah,
Did you feel like hip hop was taking an immature path?
No, I you know what it is with hip hop? Hip hop's a tool to grow, and we grew. We saw some pitfalls. You know, it's our community. We had to deal with that. It's not there now. You know, I'm really happy with the way hip hop is standing up now. Like I said, I had a packed house last night, and I was embraced. I love my community. They love me.
Right.
And I see the forefathers all loving each other. I'm very proud to have my child witness this with me.
Right.
You know, so that's where it is with me. And yeah, we're gonna make some new music. You you know, we just dropped Muddy Waters 2. It's doing well.
Yeah, I've heard that album a million times in the shop. A million
shout out,
times
Reggie
in
did
the
a
shop.
damn good job.
Shout out to Jeffington, you heard?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? 2311 pull up. You don't get that cut,
That's
you already
right.
know what it
That's
is.
right.
Man. See my man Jeffington, see my man Tice, you know what I'm saying?
I love that. Love the plug.
But yeah, plenty of times I came in here and it's on repeat.
Yeah. That's
Right,
right. Heavy rotation up in here.
You heard?
Nah, that's what it is. And that's what we do it for. You know, we do it for our people. Exactly why we do it. If we get something out of it, that's great. But we're doing it for our
people.
Yeah. And that's what it's all about for me. And we will be back. I promise. I will not let you down. We'll be back. I had a great time. Math Hoffa had us in here tonight. We had a great conversation. We covered a lot of bases.
Yeah.
And like I said, until we see each other again, I love you. Stay safe. And let's make this thing, like we always do, beautiful.
My man closed it. Hey, that's good enough for me. Game Solo, you heard? And we out.